Hey, what's going on everybody? Andrew here. Welcome to this video. Well, today we're taking a look at our camera rig that we use at Vizelex Media. This is the main cam, and of course we're filming with our B camera right now, which is the A7s number 1, Mark 1, and it's the A7s number 2, or the Mark 2. So soon we're going to be getting the A7s II, so we're going to have two of the same bodies, which makes it easier and faster turnaround time in post-production, because they're the same sensor, same color science, no need for too much color grading or too much tweaking. Okay, so this is what the rig looks like, fully assembled. We're gonna take it down bit by bit and break it down for you guys. So yeah, let's begin. The last thing I usually add on to this rig is basically the wiring. So let's go ahead and, with my handy red multi-tool that I got from the Sidewinder, which I got from the DV shop, I'm going to go ahead and unscrew and take out all the cabling. So what we're going to do in this video is that we're going to take out all the cabling, and we're going to take the camera rig apart. I'm going to explain I'm going to take it apart, and then we're going to put it back together. And I'm going to explain to you guys every single step of the process. So first thing I did was I unplugged the HDMI cables from the monitor. Now on the monitor there's two HDMIs, it's HDMI in, HDMI out. I will explain to you guys why we have two, why I bought the Ninja for that specific reason. And so yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. And next thing we're going to do is we're going to unplug the limo cable, the 3-pin limo cable from the wireless follow focus. And I use Sprigs to basically cable manage, which is really nice and beautiful. These things are awesome. So let's go ahead and remove the cables from the Sprigs. And I have a HDMI cable clamp on the side, which I'm going to go ahead and remove our HDMI cable in. Now I had a problem with my A7s, this one that I'm filming with right here, where I did not use an HDMI cable clamp, and I ended up damaging my HDMI port. And I took it to Gentech, which is the Sony authorized repair shop in Canada, and basically they wanted to charge me an arm and a leg to replace, to fix the entire thing, because they have to replace the entire board of the camera, the entire motherboard. So I'm removing the cables right now. Right now I'm working on the HDMI cables. I'm working on the HDMI cables. I'm working on removing the power cables. And let's go ahead and break this down. So go ahead and remove all the cables. That is the last step. So we're working backwards here. Okay, so removing the HDMI cables. First, I always cable manage with Velcro straps along with the Sprigs, which has been really helpful. So I'm gonna put the cable strap over there. And I'm going to remove this cable strap right here. I'm going to remove this. And yeah, we're right about done removing the cables. We're going to go ahead and remove the cable from the monitor. Goes through, loops through here. And this is the XLR module. This is the original XLR module from Sony. Now the good thing about this XLR module is that it doesn't sit directly on to the MI shoe. There's an extender that gives it, it's an extension cable. So let's go ahead and remove that. This is the audio module, as you guys can see. Go ahead and remove the wireless Go 2 from it. Put the audio module down. So we're gonna go ahead and put our audio stuff over here, right? And we have our HDMI, which is the micro HDMI to full HDMI, and another full HDMI to full HDMI. We'll explain everything as we go along. Now this is a limo cable for the wireless transmitter, as it uses the 3-pin or the 5-pin limo system. So go ahead and do that. Cable straps over here, audio module, audio wireless adapter. Go ahead and remove all the power cables, remove the dummy battery from the camera, and we're gonna break this down. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so this is the power. This is the D-tap cable, and this is the cable for the monitor, the Atomos Ninja recorder. So now the camera is looking a bit more bare. No cables hanging out from anywhere. We're gonna go ahead and remove the battery, which this battery right here is a 200 watt battery, 200 watt hour battery from Rolux. Now I bought this battery specifically because I've been shooting a lot of events lately, and with events, you're required to roll for a long time, and previously I was using 95 watt hour batteries, and you know, I just make it barely. So it's like, this goes double the time, but it also takes double the time to recharge. So this is the Rolux 200 watt hour battery, which has 14.8 volts that it can output. Cool. Now this contraption right here is one of my favorite things on this rig. It has to do with the wireless transmission system. Now, I was always searching for a wireless transmitter solution that sits between the battery plate and the battery brick. And this right here is the perfect solution for that. This is the King TV Crystal V. As you guys can see there, the Crystal V from King TV. It works wonderfully well. The only problem I had with it was that the antennas were very fragile. The original antennas were very fragile, but luckily I was able to do some research, and after buying the wrong item, I got the antennas are very tricky. So I originally bought an RP SMA adapter, which is reverse polarity, and then I realized I needed a regular SMA adapter antenna. I mean, so I ended up finding these ones, which happen to be rated on the same frequency and decibels as the original, so they work perfectly fine. I ordered this same thing, pair, but in red from my wireless transmitter system, my wireless monitor system. Now this is a new addition to my rig. Adding this big battery and this wireless transmitter basically introduces a lot of play. So I was able to go out and get, you can see the sprigs on there. I was able to get the shape rod block and a battery plate from Rolux to go ahead and put on the shape plate. Now, the good thing about this battery plate is that it comes with 2 D-taps, so I no longer have to use I no longer have to use a D-tap splitter. So with the 2 D-taps on the battery plate, which are right here and right here, I also have a D-tap on the camera, on the battery, and a USB out on the battery. So I have 3 D-taps, which is able to power my monitor, my camera, and my wireless follow focus, my Nucleus M. Cool. So next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take off the Atomos Ninja. Now it's usually just twist it and pull it off from the front monitor mount. Right here, we're gonna put this down. And next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna leave the side handle attached because it's a pain in the butt to put back on. Let's go ahead and remove the mat box. Now people say you don't need mat boxes. Now personally, I feel like it adds an element of not just cool factor to your camera rig, but also it adds an element of protection. In case the camera falls over, you have the mat box, which is gonna shatter instead of your lens shattering. Cool. So this next we have is the wireless follow focus, which is the Tilta Nucleus M. I'm gonna go ahead and remove that from the camera rig. I'm gonna go ahead and remove that. We removed it, and I'm gonna go ahead and tighten it down so that this doesn't get loose because it's a pain in the butt to put back on. This is the Tilta Nucleus M follow focus. Cool. Now we have the base of any camera rig, right? I'm not gonna dismantle it from here on because this is basically the base of any camera rig, any good camera rig. Now, a lot of people don't understand that when you design a camera rig, it's not about just getting parts and sewing them together. It's about thinking about ergonomics too. How is this camera gonna perform under different environments or the environments that you use it under, right? for me, most of the time I'm shooting handheld or I'm on a tripod with this camera specifically. Now the camera I'm filming with right here, it's for gimbal work. I have two cameras for a reason. There's one camera dedicated for gimbal, one camera dedicated for tripod and handheld work. So basically, let's go ahead and explain this. And then we'll put the rig back together. We have, first you want to do is you want to grab your base plate, which is this thing right here, right? This piece right here. You put your base plate on, right? Mine is a Manfrotto base plate from Smallrig. Now this base plate is no longer being sold, it's discontinued, but it's one of the best base plates you can have because you can adjust the height of the rods if you're using bigger mat boxes. These are 15mm rods from Shape, aluminum. I got these ones because they kind of look cool and they're very sturdy. Before I was using carbon fiber and I found that they had a lot of flex. So this is what I'm using now. All right, cool. So next thing on this is the side handle. Now for me, I love side handles. I love being able to hold my camera rig like I'm actually holding, like, you know, I'm how much you holding something. If I was to be holding this, I have big hands. So like, you know, having the grip makes my life a lot easier. It makes maneuvering the camera easier to do. Cool. And then next is the top handle, which is right here, which goes onto a NATO reel, right? I'm gonna remove that. I'm not gonna remove the side handle. So we'll remove the top handle. Top handle is right here. It's right here. Top handle. Cool. Let's put that down. And I want to show you guys the base plate, just so I can show you what I mean. So this base plate is the Manfrotto base plate. I'll put all the part numbers on the screen. This is a Manfrotto Smallrig base plate, and basically it's a Manfrotto 501 PL plate at the bottom for the tripod, and then these are Shape aluminum rods. So this is the base of any good camera rig. Your base plate and matters a lot because it will determine what features or what accessories you'll be able to use with your camera rig. That is said, let's go ahead and look at the main camera body. As you can tell, there's something that goes around. There's a bunch of elements which I have to explain now, which is the camera cage. The main thing that goes around the camera, right? This camera cage is from NICEY Rig, and this is the only accessory that's not a camera that's not Smallrig. Because I found out this cage to be much better. I actually got it from the owner that I bought this camera from. He gave me the camera cage, and it works well because the Smallrig version doesn't have an Arri-Rosette, which is flush to the camera, right? It doesn't have the Arri-Rosette receiver built in. You have to buy it as an additional, and it's just too janky. So the NICEY Rig cage is nice, and I have the HDMI clamp for it. All right, and then you're looking at this right here. This is an adapter to adapt the Canon mount, because all my Nano Prime lenses are Canon mounts. So I adapt my Canon mount lenses to my Sony body. So E-mount is very flexible. That's why I keep on using Sony, and also because of the low light. This is an A7s, so I shoot a lot of concerts, and I do a lot of run and gun work, and sometimes you don't know what environment you're going to be shooting in. So low light is essential for me. I can't shoot with any other camera. I would love to switch to Blackmagic, but because of the low light, it's tough for me to make that decision. Cool. And this right here is a step-up ring for the mat box. And underneath it, we have a shorter Manfrotto plate. And on top of here, we have an inch NATO reel from Smallrig. Cool. So that said, everything's broken down. We're gonna go ahead and put everything together, and I'm gonna talk about my favorite aspects and features that I like about this camera rig, right? And why I chose all these parts. Okay, first off, camera and camera body. This is a Rokinon 35mm Cine DS lens. Now this is affordable. It gets the job done. I'm not a cinematographer. I never claimed to be a cinematographer, but I need a lens which is good enough to get a sharp image and a clean image for my client work, and that's what I need it for. And the Rokinon, I have a set of them, a set of 4. the 24, 35, 50, and the 85, and they work wonderfully well. My 50 mil is a photo version, so I'm gonna go ahead and sell it one day and get the cine version of the 50 mil, and then maybe get the 135 and also the 14. Cool. So this is the plate camera, which is this camera body right here, which is wrapped in olive green or hunter green camo. And yeah, cage, side handle, NATO reel. All right, so let's go ahead and take that, and we're gonna go ahead and take this and drop our cage onto the what do you call it? The base plate with the rods. So I'm gonna go ahead and attach that. There you go. Make sure it's secure. Make sure it's secure, and it is secure. Let me go ahead and reinforce it. Go ahead and reinforce it. Tighten it down. It's locked down. Locked down. Cool. Now, next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and add this plate. I'm gonna go ahead and add the female version to the male version, female end to the male end of the battery plate to the transmitter. I'm gonna go ahead and add that, and I'm gonna go ahead and slide that to the very edge, to the very back of our camera rig. So this almost looks like a mini red setup. Go ahead and do that. Give enough space. I usually go ahead and tilt out the monitor on the camera body, and to see if I have enough clearance right about here. Right about here for my, for my, yeah, there we go. Tighten it down. This shape rod block is very handy because, man, it's very sturdy. Like, it's not going anywhere. It's not gonna flex. You get what you pay for. It's $100 for that, which is really expensive, but in the grand scheme of things, it's a good investment, and it just makes life a lot easier. Cool. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and add our wireless follow focus motor right here to it. I'm gonna go ahead and add that wireless follow focus motor. We're gonna go ahead and add that right here. Go ahead and loosen that up. Loosen that up and add it on. And let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and do that and then tighten it down. Let's go ahead and tighten it down. Now our motor's attached. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and add the mat box. Now the mat box comes without this safety plate right here, this adapter. This adapter serves two purposes. It keeps the weight of the mat box up, but also acts as a tool to prop up the lens and to keep the lens from drooping. So I'm going to go ahead and add that onto my plate. Tighten this down, tighten the side down, and then go ahead and tighten down this. Now this mat box from Smallrig can accept filters through this end, like full cinema filters, 2 stages. So you can go ahead and get creative and add all the stuff that you want to add to it. Cool. And then we're gonna go ahead and add our top handle. Now the top handle can go right there, and 1 second, let me go ahead and attach it properly. Let's go ahead and attach it properly. Let's go ahead and do that. Now you guys can see the camera rig is coming along well. And then after that, we're going to add our battery, the 200 watt battery from Rolux. Go ahead and add that to the back of the rig. It makes it heavy, but the heavier the rig, the better. Soon I'm gonna get an easy rig. Not the easy rig, more than the Pro Aim rig, but you know, this is the rig right here. It's coming along really, really well. Cool. And then my monitor. Now this Atomos Ninja 5 unlocks the A7s to a whole different level. Now lets me record ProRes or DNX. I record ProRes. DNX is not practically for me. ProRes is better because it's very simple to use and the codec is very nice. But what this does for the camera that I appreciate the most is that it gives me the SSD workflow. So I use SSDs instead of SD cards, which are more reliable and they're faster to transfer data. And also it unlocks the camera from being able to record only for 30 minutes to now unlimited record time in one file, not split up files like the GH4, GH5. So here we go, the Atomos Ninja 5. Now on mine, I've gotten the HDMI lock because I've had trouble with HDMI not being locked on the past. So I went out and got these locks to secure the HDMI lock, the HDMI clips when it's inserted. Cool. And on here, you also have the battery eliminator, so we can use ETAP. Cool. So we're gonna go ahead and add this. I'm gonna go ahead and add this onto our camera rig, our cinema rig. Go ahead and add that there. I do an offset for a reason. So we added that. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. Let's go ahead and add that. This is very well thought out, at least for what I use it for. Like everything I put on here that I purchased for my rig is like has been premeditated for ages. So this is years and years in the making, not overnight. So don't just think that you can go out and buy a camera and this is like months and years of collecting parts and accessories to build up this camera rig. Cool. Now when Grant Petty makes a nice camera from Blackmagic that is good in low light, I will be ditching Sony. But I like Sony for the small body because it lets me expand and the camera doesn't get too ridiculously large. Cool. Now, this right here is, I'm telling you ladies and gentlemen, this thing right here, this adapter right here is a godsend. It's fan power available and it attaches to the MI shoe, the multi-interface shoe, and you can go ahead and basically, you can go ahead and power XLR microphones, up to 2 of them at the same time, and it has levels that you can ride with attenuation and all that stuff, line, mic, everything. So this basically makes this is a module from the FX3. So the moment I add this onto here, practically have an A7s II S23. So yeah, let's go ahead and add the XLR adapter module. This is the A1M or the K1M from Sony, directly from Sony themselves. Go ahead and add that, and I'm gonna go ahead and run it through this Sprig. Now I have sprigs all over the place, and I can't. The moment I learned about sprigs, I just went out and ordered a bunch because they're very nice. It's like the best way to cable manage your camera rig. Now, this right here, a lot of people don't understand when you're using the XLR module with your camera, with your Sony camera, at least for the A7s II, it bypasses your audio module with your mic input on the camera. So you can't use a wireless lav and the shotgun at the same time. You have to run an adapter to the module, and then it will pick up everything. So everything runs through this. But here's a workaround that I found. Basically, with my wireless Go 2, it's dual channel, right? You see the 2 bands right there? I plug this in here, and I plug this to the code shoe of the audio module, and I plug it into the line mic in of the Ninja. That does 2 things. That gives me two channels, left and right, on the main audio input of the Ninja. So when I'm recording to the Ninja, it will write a file. It will write an audio file in stereo, left and right, to the recording in the camera in the Ninja, and it will also pick up this right here coming from the camera through the HDMI to the Ninja, and it will record another 2 tracks. So 1, 2 left and right, 3, 4 stereo. So yeah, that's it. This is perfect for documentaries. This is the perfect documentary rig because you can have an XLR module, which I'm gonna plug in right now. Right here, you can have an XLR module. You can have an XLR microphone, right? Plugged in right here. And I'm gonna run the cable. I'm gonna run the cable to it. To the very first input. Run the cable. And I'm gonna plug that in there. You have that. And you can have audio coming in here and 2 channels of left and right. What do you call it? 2 channels, dual channel left and right. So you get 4 channels of record tracks. You get 4 record channels. Dual stereo. Cool. Alright, so the microphone module's been adapted, and this is what it looks like so far. Pretty cool, right? You know, it's amazing what this thing can do. Alright, now all we have left over are the cables. So let's start off with the number 1 suspect, which is the D-tap to MPW50 adapter. Now, when I first got my A7S, the original A7S that I was using before this one right here, I used a cheap adapter from B&H or Amazon, I think, and I used it and it basically fired my camera. I reversed the polarity, and they didn't have reverse polarity protections on it, so I just fired the camera, and I had to get it fixed. You have to pay money to get it fixed. So I learned my lesson, and I went out and spent like $150 on this Indie Pro Tools adapter, and yeah, it's been wonderful ever since. So let's go ahead and add that to the adapter, to the camera. So I'm gonna go ahead and manage the cables. I have straps on here. Go ahead and run these cables through the Sprig. Cool. That is wrapped and cable managed. So you see that? You cable managed it. Cable managed. So it looks like from the side. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add the barrel through here. And we're going to run it through to the back of the Ninja. And we're going to go ahead and add that here. Cable manage that. And then run the cables along the side of the camera. Another Sprig right here. Alright, next thing we're going to do is we're going to add the HDMI cables. I'm going to add the HDMI cables. So this thin one goes at the top, the HDMI in. Cool. I'm gonna route the cable. And now we're gonna route this cable is the key part, right? So from HDMI out from the Ninja, we're able to route a cable, another HDMI cable, full to full, through The Sprigs. The last one we have to route is the 5-pin limo cable. Route this through the Sprigs, through here. And then we route it there. And then the final thing we're gonna do all right, so here's what it looks like. This is what the camera looks like.